was engaged, people would so innocently give me their advice and their tips, and these 6 lies that I don't believe are true about marriage would come up all the time. And so today I'm going to give you my unfiltered advice on getting married, getting prepared to be married, and also what you need to know about marriage and what is not true out there. There's a lot of fake news. There's just a lot of misconceptions about marriage out there that have become stereotypes or what people just like to say. And so today, let's dispel those. Okay, lie number 1, marriage is hard. Now, the reason this is a lie is because life is hard. Any relationship is hard. So I'm of the personal belief that yeah, marriage is going to be hard, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be amazing and beautiful and wonderful and the ultimate key to a successful and happy life and a long-term relationship. So when people tell you that, oh, marriage is hard, I hope you're ready for this, I hope that in the back of your mind you're saying, life is hard, and so I am actually making a decision that's going to lead to my happiness and my joy, because I have found that any relationship is gonna have its bumps, you're gonna have your fights, you're gonna have moments where you're like, oh, I get how marriage is hard, but you're going to have way more experiences where marriage is wonderful and amazing. The second lie that is out there is so terrifying, especially if you have loved dating so much. And it is this lie that when you get married, you're going to fall out of love with each other. Now, this comes very innocently from a lot of people giving you advice that marriage isn't like dating. Marriage isn't like dating. Guess what? It's better than dating, because you don't have to go home after curfew. You don't have to say goodnight anymore. You just get to be with that person all the time. And so this idea that you're going to fall out of love was really terrifying for me, because I was so in love with my husband, Josh, and we were dating, and it was so fun, and it was magical to go on all these dates, and I was so worried that that would go away when we got married. And yes, we don't go on as many quote-unquote dates, because when you're dating, you kind of orchestrate that and say, we're going to go hang out here, and we'll go get dinner here. But when you're married, it's the same thing, but you're saying, hey, let's, make dinner at the house here, and then let's go to a movie. And so you don't have to fall out of love with your spouse when you get married. If anything, your love only amplifies. So for my girls out there that are so afraid that, your love or how you see each other is going to change when you get married because you'll get used to each other, I have not found that to be the case. I have found that in healthy and strong relationships, marriage only increases the love. You are only more crazy about your partner, and dating is so much more fun because you guys get to decide and plan together. This third lie, I get asked all the time. It comes up on my Instagram, it comes up on, private messages of young women asking, well, what if I make the wrong decision? And I take this question very seriously, because I know personally a lot of women who, I shouldn't say a lot, maybe 5, 5 women that have gotten married and they truly felt duped. They truly felt like their spouse changed drastically, or they had a closet addiction or problem of a sort that came out after they were married. And that idea can be terrifying to somebody who's you're putting your whole life and your whole trust in somebody else when you get married, and I get that. And I remember that fear being so real. But my advice for you on combating this fear is that if you are keeping your eyes wide open when you're dating, meaning that you are looking for red flags, if anything comes up that you don't like about your partner, which sounds really bad, but hey, I don't like the way you treat this person, or this was a really big red flag to me, you need to talk about it, because it's not gonna go away. And I actually realized that I wanted to marry Josh when I understood that there was nothing I wanted to change about him. And if that's the way that you feel about your boyfriend or fiance, then that's a great sign that you're not going to make the wrong decision. On top of this, and this dupes everything else, you need to talk to God about it. You need to get on your knees, you need to pray and figure out for yourself that this is the right person and have that confirmation from the Holy Ghost. And some girls are waiting for that to be really big. I'm here to tell you mine wasn't big. Mine was just a feeling of peace. And because I knew I'd made great decisions in who I dated, and I loved the person I was when I was Josh. I loved who he was. There was nothing I wanted to change about him or red flags to watch out for. And then I had that feeling of peace when I talked to my Heavenly Father about it. I knew that it was the right decision. And so you've got to go forward with faith. Marriage is a huge leap of faith, but it's a really educated decision as well. So make sure when you're dating, your eyes are wide, wide, wide open. And that if there are red flags, either you get out of that relationship or you talk about it and see if these are things that you can work through together. Lie number 4 I hear all the time, and I still hear even after I got married. And it's this lie that it's always better to wait to get married. And I understand where people very innocently are coming from in this, because yeah, you don't want to get married so young that A, you make the wrong decision, B, you aren't mature or prepared for the responsibilities that come with marriage. What people always say with this is, oh, you need to wait until you have a job. You need to wait until you're out of school. You need to wait until X, Y, and Z, right? Well, I'm here to tell you that there's never a perfect time for anything in your life. There's never a perfect time to start a big project, to stop a big project, to get married, to have kids. Like, all these things is your personal decision, and that's between you and God. So if you feel like right now is the right time, and hey, you might be a little bit young, if you and your boyfriend or fiance feel like that's the right choice, if you feel like it's the right choice with God and your family is on board, like, nothing should stop you. This is your decision and your life, and there's never, ever, ever a perfect time to get married. Lie number 5 is that marriage will change me. And this one isn't a lie, like, I'll flat out say that, but I always believed that marriage would change me in negative ways, that I would be almost limited. I remember literally sitting down after getting engaged and thinking to myself, oh, how is marriage gonna change me? Is it gonna limit my dreams? Is it gonna limit my possibilities? Is it gonna limit some of my goals? I had this crazy goal. I wanted to be a lawyer, if not a lawyer, a doctor, and I felt like somehow if I got married, I'd have to give up those dreams or change those goals. And I'm here to tell you that marriage only changes you in the best way. It helps round out some of your rough edges. It helps you to be more selfless. And so this idea that you're going to be a different person when you get married isn't true, good or bad. If anything, you find out more about yourself. I have never felt more self-confident than when I've been married, because I just feel such love and support from my husband. And so it changes you in all the best ways. And if you're afraid that maybe it's going to change you in some negative ways, I would really challenge those beliefs and see where they're coming from. And my 6th lie for you is that you'll never have time for yourself again after you get married. This was a big lie that I used to believe in, so I would panic and freak out that once I get married, I'm never gonna have any time anymore. And it's true that you do get really busy when you're married. Case in point, you have 2 Christmases to go to. You have all these birthday parties to go to, right? And family events, they kind of double, right? But if you've been dating this person a while, you probably have already been going to both your houses for Christmas, or you've been going to other family events already. So really, there's not a big change. And if anything, I think the struggle when you're married is to find time to be together. And because, there's school, there's work, there's obligations. And so if you're worried about having you time, I have not found that to be a problem yet in my marriage. And it truly is just a matter of making sure that your priorities are in line, because life is only going to get busier. That part about life, not just marriage, life is so true that it's only going to get busier and more full, especially as you add kids and you start your family. But you need to always make sure that your health, your self-love is always up front and present, because if you start to lose yourself in, your spouse a little bit, and that sounds weird, but you start to lose who you are and things that you like to do, that's where people can get a little bit unhappy in their marriage. And so still, you can always have time for your friends. You can always have time to take care of yourself. You're just going to have to plan and organize. I'm a firm believer there is enough time in this world for anything you want to do, just not everything. So prioritize yourself and your self-love, and you won't have a problem with this idea that when I get married, I'm never going to have time for myself. So that is my advice on that little lie for you. Okay, I'm sure by now you are so over the topic of marriage, and so I'm gonna conclude this video with this last bit of advice that I truly am an advocate for marriage. I believe it is one of the ways to greatest happiness and joy in a committed and loving relationship. And so I hope that as you progress in your relationships, and whether that's looking forward to marriage in many, many years or in a couple of days or weeks, I hope that these tips help you out, because there's a lot of lies out there. There's a lot of advice on marriage, but it's ultimately up to you and your partner and God. And it's the three of you in this relationship and nobody else. And so I wish you the best of luck. I wish you all the happiness in the world in your relationships, and I hope to see you in some of my other videos. So leave me a comment down below. Let me know your relationship status and maybe where you are, and see if I've got some videos that can help you out. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Abby J out.